among strange will destroy you.
She's alive! Alive!
I am Dracula.
I can't hear you.
Oh, there we go.
Okay,
How about
now?
now?
Hey.
There we go. Technical difficulties. We're sorry about that. So, thank you for coming on the show again, sir.
Oh, thank you. I liked your
Hey.
graphics at the beginning of the show. Those look good. I like to.
Yeah, they're a little light on you. I need to get one of your paintings for either the shop here or something. But I have long been a fan of your work, and most of our fans, I'm sure, have seen you. You've done covers to magazines. You've done covers to DVDs. And I want to get this out of the way first off. You're also a 7-time recipient of the Rondo Hatton Award.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, you just take it in stride. You don't. To a Monster Kid, though, we are like that. We're in awe of that. That's just amazing. There's a picture of you with one of the Rondos. Is that the most recent one, I believe?
Yes, it is. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So,
it's I'm not sad about it. I love having them. I mean, it's like all, when I was a kid, like in high school, win a little award here or there or whatever. But winning these means the world to me. For a group of your peers, saying, we like this guy's stuff, we like what he does, it makes us happy. I'm like, thank you so much.
Yes. And I know that in the circles that I attend at shows and conventions, you're mentioned in very, high esteem, in the same breaths as Basil Gogos and a lot of the people that we grew up, of course, famous monsters of Filmland. So, I mean, they know you as kind of the heir of Basil Gogos, because you do amazing work and you are prolific. I don't know how long it takes you to do one of these, but everywhere you look, you can see some of your work.
Wow. I mean, just to be even like, okay, you're good enough to polish Basil Gogos' shoes. I'd be like, oh, okay, thank you. I'm your Renfield, but to be told that's, oh, wow, thank you. So go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a fan because we met each other several years ago at a what was that, Tallahassee convention?
A little convention at the Civic Center, and if I remember correctly, you were making up a lady to be a zombie or something.
Yes.
Yeah, that was really effective makeup. You did a great job.
Thank you. Well, that is where I finally got to meet you and see what you were doing, and I was blown away. You actually gave me a few postcards that I still have. Like I said, though, earlier when we were talking, I had to fight my daughter for the Jack Torrance Shining one, but you gave me a few of those, and I have cherished those all these years. They're just beautiful, and then I've added to the collection through the magazine covers and that sort of thing. But where did this all start for you? I mean, were you always interested in monsters, or was it more of a creative arts thing?
It was, my dad was in the Air Force, and when we lived in Germany in the mid-'60s, I'd see a monster movie here and there and go, ooh, that's kind of cool. And the thing that was a problem. And now, I mean, I've changed. I've altered my brain waves over the decades. But at the time, the only thing they had on Armed Forces television most of the time was Westerns, you know, because they were reruns, Westerns and crime shows. They had Perry Mason, they had Bonanza, they had all that kind of stuff, Combat. I mean, they had all these kinds of shows. But here and there, you'd get in something like A Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea, or even, you know, Star Trek, which I think I saw about a year after the public was seeing it here. And then they'd show monster movies. We'd see things like Kronos, or Queen of Blood, or, you know, things like that. We didn't see the big expensive. One time I walked in on the ending of Journey to the Center of the Earth, which is a big movie. But and then we moved back to the United States, and you people, man, you don't know how good you got it, because you had color television, monster movies every weekend, Saturday morning cartoons, which blew my mind. It was like, this country's like Christmas every day. And I couldn't believe the stuff that I could see. First image I remember seeing on a color TV set is Gary Conway in his red jumpsuit being held with a giant pair of pliers, you know, and the announcer going, "You will not believe what you see in the land of the giants." And I'm like, what the hell is this? You know, and it was like, man, somebody came along and unscrewed my head and ladled this stuff in. Color and monsters. That's one of the biggest things, the reasons that I love color so much. And you know, so you know, we're home for a year or so. I'm loving this stuff, and then my dad gets shipped off to Vietnam, and I'm sort of like, I'm in a bad place, you know, as a kid in the 4th grade. But you know, there was Saturday afternoon monster movies, a Friday night monster movie, cartoons, and Ultraman, and just all this really great stuff that kind of, I mean, I've heard other people say the same thing too. They've had some trauma in their life, but that kind of stuff kind of helped. And I don't know, a few years after that, my dad came home, you know, and we ended up moving to North Carolina, and I was into comic books too. So there was the art beginning, and then the movies. But I started off like being a Jack Kirby clone fan, whatever, and drawing from his stuff and drawing from other things. And then I moved over to doing a lot of Star Trek artwork, like and then drawing real people, not comic book people. And it just kind of went from there. Went to art school. My dad went nuts when he saw that I could draw. He was very supportive. He's like, you know, you know, and it was like, because he was born in in Oklahoma, and he lived there during the Dust Bowl. He had to have his own apartment at the age of 13 and work the oil fields, you know, and drive a truck even at that age. So when he saw one of his kids had talent outside of the normal, you know, working in an office or anything, he pushed it with me. He was like, hey, you know, every time you get a chance, go take an art class or something. And as soon as I got out of high school, he pushed me into this little tiny, very inexpensive art class with a really good art teacher here in Tallahassee, and kind of started honing my skills. But I always loved movies. I always loved monster movies, science fiction, and all that kind of stuff. And you know, and just, you know, 15, 20 years ago or so, I was working a regular job as a corporate art director, and I was getting paid well and everything. But I was like, you know, I've come up against a wall. I don't really want to do this the rest of my life. I mean, I don't hate it. There's worse jobs. But then I started thinking about being a book illustrator or something like that. But sent off some stuff to Little Shop of Horrors magazine, and Richard Clemenson and his wife Nancy are like, we want you on the next cover. And that was about 14, 15 years ago. I mean, really, this is fairly new for a guy my age. I'm 60 now, but I've really only been doing this for about 14 years. And when you met me, I had a very tiny portfolio. I hardly had anything, maybe 30 pieces or something. And since then, it's been a lot more. So.
Well, I'm glad that Mr. Maddox, your father, encouraged you in that direction, and I'm sure I speak for all monster kids and fans. It's great that you had that support, because I couldn't imagine the monster world without your art in it, honestly, because we're going to start showing some as we're talking, because I've always been partial to the Hammer Horror, Universal monsters, of course, the Irwin Allen, and you cover all the bases. So for our fans that may not be familiar with your work, we're going to sprinkle those in with some of your stories. But these pieces...
You asked me how long that one took. That one took a long time. That was maybe a month and a week, or a month and 2 weeks, like a month and a half, because I wanted everything just right. I mean, it was a lot of labor. Some things go fairly quick. I think I've got a Gorgon in here that I sent to you guys to show. That one was like easy, 5 days, you know. You went right to it. Cool. They were doing an issue of Little Shop of Horrors. The producer was and so I didn't like the pose of her in the photos that I was working from. So I got my then wife. I said, "Hey, just stand up here and do this with your hands and everything." And then I sort of just drew them together and then painted them. It's like, you know, but I had fun doing that. It was like only a 5-day job in comparison.
And then the other one you said was a month and a few weeks.
Yeah, about a month and a half, roughly.
But there's so many likenesses in this, too.
Yeah, literally what I did, this was a digital piece, but I literally every piece was painted separately, and then digitally painted in Corel Painter, and then finished up in Photoshop. But I like Corel because I can make my own brushes and stuff like that, give a kind of oil feel. And then, so I did each part separately and then stitched them together. I had a rough idea of what the composition was going to look like. But if you were to literally print that thing out at its actual size, it's probably the size of a barn, the side of a barn.
What you did there.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I kind of had to do that with your title card, was to put all the different images that you have, because it's like you can't pick a favorite. You make it difficult to pick a favorite Mark Maddox piece.
Wow. I mean, you know, one thing, even if somebody does have a favorite, I like the fact that nobody has the same favorite. That makes me feel like I'm doing all right. Then we're getting into a person's personality. You know, it's like I have certain things, like if somebody does a monster from the Outer Limits, I want to be like, oh, let me see that. You know. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, you had, I think you sent one of the Xanties, correct? I think we have one of those.
Yeah.
So that's your love, is the Outer Limits, and that was a big inspiration for you too?
It was one of those elusive things. I didn't get to see it for a long time. I saw like the bubblegum cards. I saw photographs in magazines. I think I might have seen an episode, but later in the 70s. Saw a few episodes in the late 70s, saw some, and I always thought the makeup on that show was really good. In this case, not a makeup job there, but a animated puppet by Jim Danforth, you know, crawling all over Bruce Dern and him begging it not to kill him and everything. And amazing that a show like that was made and all the special effects done by hand, and yet they had like 34 episodes in 1 year. Full hour, you know, just a few minutes short of a full hour. Now we get these streaming shows that are 10 episodes, you know, every year and a half or something, but that's a lot of work. And all the monsters on that show were cool. The writing was really good. But yeah, that show, The Prisoner with Patrick McGowan, the classic Star Trek, especially the first 2 seasons, and Johnny Quest, those were like my 4 favorite shows in terms of the fantastical stuff. Also maybe Jerry Anderson's UFO, but I mean, I watch a lot of that stuff. Some of that stuff I've watched so many times, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah. I know that as an artist, I leave stuff like that playing in the background often. It's such an inspiration.
Sure.
You know, it has fueled imaginations for decades now. And it seems to be a common curve with creators like yourself, that we all harken back to that time, you know, the 60s and 70s and even the 50s. If you were around in the 50s, you got to see a lot of this stuff first released, like Creature from the Black Lagoon came out 54. So that wasn't that long ago for a lot of the people that were getting into it. But by the time we were playing with it in the 60s and 70s, we got to see it on wonderful television. You know, we would be able to see it in reruns, and then eventually, you know, in video cassette. And now you can stream anything.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a massive film collection. I don't trust anybody to stream You know, with me, it's like, yeah, if I love that film enough, I'm buying a hard copy. I'm never going to take a chance that
Yes.
somebody's going to go, well, we pulled it from our library. It's like, no,
Yeah.
no, thank
And
you.
now I don't get into politics, but the thing is that you do have to worry about that because films are disappearing now because they're deemed, you know, too tumultuous for the time. So a lot of the films that we grew up with are disappearing, and I would hate for someone to flip the switch on a lot of this stuff, the fantasy, the sci-fi, the horror that we grew up with, and just say it's no longer relevant or no longer, you know, streamable or online. So I'm with you, man. Any format that you can save it in. We still have VHS, so they can never take that.
Well, I think aren't VHS tapes starting to sell the way those video games now are selling at auction and stuff? I heard somebody bought one, a VHS copy of something the other day for several $100. I'm like, oh, okay. Why don't you just get the Blu-ray that's, you know, that's on Amazon or something? But yeah, I mean, I still had laser discs up until a few years ago. I actually do still have some VHS around here, someplace. Really rare stuff that there's just no other way to see. You know?
Right. And sometimes it's still nice turning on the VHS and seeing the scratches and having to deal with the tracking and stuff. It looks like we do have a. Oh yeah, absolutely. It takes you back. It's like smelling an old comic book. You know, it hits you on all the feels.
Right.
It looks like we have a question from a viewer. What's that question? Oh, Boris. Your favorite piece. Boris Worietsky is asking what your favorite piece is that you've done.
Oh, no, I can't. I don't have one. I mean, you know, like when you asked me to send those pictures to you, that was me rapidly cherry picking through the files. You know.
Yeah.
So even all of those, I give it the, you know, my own seal of approval. No, it's kind of hard to say. No, there's no way.
They're all like your kids in a way, aren't they? I mean, you put your heart and soul into every one.
There's a few stinkers. That I either got micromanaged or by an editor or something, and when it was over, I looked at it, shook my head, and went, "Yeah, I'm not going to be pushing that one in my portfolio anytime." It's only happened like maybe 3 times. The rest of them I either like or I love them. But to pick a favorite would be almost impossible. There's little elements in some of them. I'm still very proud of some of my earliest ones when I got serious about that. There's a Vincent Price as a surgeon from Scream and Scream Again. I was proud of that one because Ken Kelly just passed away this last week. I'm very sad, but he was the first kind of big Monster Magazine painting dude that I showed anything to, and he just told me, you keep this up at that, you're gonna make it. You know, I was like, wow, you know, coming from him. I mean, I've got his you know, FM Famous Monsters 1975 convention poster in my living room, and to have somebody like that turn to you and say something like that, you know, makes you feel great.
Oh yeah.
But sorry, Boris, I don't really have an answer. I mean, if I hate them, if I don't like them after I'm done, then I've really not done my job. And like, you know what I mean? It's sort of like, oh, no, get out of the business, Mark, leave. You know?
Yeah.
But I'm entertaining myself when I do it a lot too. Like I recently did a Crawling Eye cover for Little Shop. As a matter of fact, it's going to press this weekend. And I bugged him. I bugged Richard Clemenson for like 8 years. I want to do this. There was no reason to do it. Finally, he calls me up because we're doing a thing on the producers of the film, and I'm like, oh, yes. So
nice.
I finally got to do that. But yeah, I mean, it's all fun.
So I since you started your career like in earnest, that has been a ball, I'm sure. What was it like? You mentioned that you were in a regular job working in an art field. What was it like the moment you decided, yes, I'm going to pursue this full time and do this?
A little scary. It was good, but it was scary. I had walked into a boss's office, and my previous boss had been let go, and they brought this guy in. And we started talking. He said, well, this is your new boss. And I said, well, yeah, what we usually do is bat ideas back and forth for the advertising we're going to do on a certain project. And the guy looked at me and he goes, no, you're going to do what I tell you to do. When he said that, I was sort of like, wow, that's sort of a odd thing to put it that way. I mean, so I left. I was a vacation weekend, and I remember walking the beach getting really irritated, and saying, why should I, with the passion and love I have for doing art, why should I put up with stuff like that? And it took a little while. It was about 2 years later I turned in my 2 weeks notice, but that was the beginning of that. And I still had another corporate job, but I was starting to do things. I started inking comic books and doing some short little comic book stories, and realizing when you found out what the pay was for comic book guys, a lot of them, it was like there's no way to make a living at this for most. I mean, I know there's guys that do, and they're fantastic, but I thought, well, if I did anything, I'd want to do the covers of the comic books.
Yeah.
And then that immediately went over to monster magazines, which just I just happened to send the right thing to the right person, and it kind of got the ball rolling.
Do you find I see it on one side, but with monster art, you have those fans that are just fevered. They'll buy whatever your stuff is on and everything like that. Do you find in the horror art that, I mean, your stuff is such fine art? Is it sometimes devalued in your opinion because it is pop culture versus something more like a political figure or someone like that, or an old war hero or something? Have you ever come into that comparison where someone's willing to pay you this much for, an actual historical figure or monsters?
It's kind of funny. It's sort of like if you go to I don't know, let's say you go to a convention that's about World War II or the history of warfare and stuff. Of course, there's going to be guys there with paintings of airplanes, B-1, B-52, not B-52, that's later, but what I mean, B-17 bombers and stuff like that. And within that crowd, there's a value within that crowd. And with people that I do my work for, there's a value within that crowd too. Now you switch over to something like Heritage Auctions, where a Spider-Man comic sells for over $3 million. It's like somebody's putting value. I mean, I remember when I first moved to Tallahassee in 1975, and I think the first Van Gogh sold for like $1 million or $2 million. Now we're talking about a Spider-Man comic selling for $3.2 million. Frazetta's finally selling for, what was the one? I don't know, was it $6 million? I think it was $6 million for the Egyptian queen or whatever. I mean, so somebody out there is like, okay, there's gold and there's stocks and there's classic automobiles and there's this and there's that and there's comic books and monster magazines, because the people that loved it, a lot of those people that loved it as little kids, they're millionaires and billionaires now, and they're brain surgeons and they're this and that. And it's like, that's what I want,
Right.
I don't necessarily need a portrait of Jeb Stuart, the Civil War, I just, so, but, people always ask me, it's like, well, you're famous, aren't you? And I'm like, well, not if you drop me out at NASCAR when somebody says it over the microphone. It's like, you know what I'm saying? In other words, where you are is where you're going to see people that see value in what you're doing. And that's, I mean, that's the only kind of people I hang out with, the people that love monster magazines and science fiction and comics and stuff like that, So,
that's a fortunate crowd to hang out with, though, I got to say.
I'll tell you what, the convention that the one where I go to get the Ronda's Wonderfest, shoot, there are guys that are so creative with sculpting and building spaceships, and you walk in there and there's a medical frigate from Empire Strikes Back, but it's like, I mean, it would barely fit in this room. It's unbelievable. Or I walked into one guy's room, they wouldn't allow him to take his model down to the wouldn't let him take his model down to the show because it was too big for the table. It's like a 7.5 foot eagle from Space 1999, but it was impeccable. I mean, it was stunning to look at. And it's like, that's where I look at those guys and go, we're not worthy. We're not worthy. So,
yes.
There's a lot of people there that are more talented than I am in a lot of ways, but it inspires me, it keeps me going.
Hang on one second, man. It looks like we're having an issue with our camera. I think you can still hear me though, correct?
I see you now. You went
to the dot. Yes. Boy, oh boy. We are, and now you, oh man. What is happening here?
Well, did the lens get moved or something?
There we go. No, it started reading the other camera. Wow, we're having gremlins tonight.
Wow.
See, we were working with a system that was much cheaper in the first season. And now we've got more equipment, more expensive equipment, and it's like Scotty says, more ways to stuff up the plumbing.
The drain. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's exactly what popped in my head. We've got problems if we both, I quote Star Trek so much it's not even funny.
Oh yeah.
Even bad Star Trek I quote.
Oh yeah, and I did see one really good picture here, and it was one that you recently posted on Facebook. We have a mutual acquaintance, the Kirk Thatcher photo, because a lot of people hear Kirk Thatcher, and they're like, "Who is that?" And it's like guys like us know exactly who he was, and who he now has gotten kind of new fame on his appearance on Picard. So that guy is fantastic. I was jealous that you got to meet him in person.
I love it. Oh yeah, I mean, I asked him the other night. I mean, he's. I mean, we've only seen each other like 3 or 4 times, but every time we talk, it's really good. And I asked him straight up, how did you get involved with being in Star Trek 4, basically monetarily the most popular of the original films? And he said that Nimoy needed a liaison between just doing his directing and somebody that knew special effects, and Kirk got the job. But Kirk's a great guy and funny. And he does a lot of stuff with like the Muppets, and he's a puppeteer and all that stuff. But yeah, Kirk's a great dude.
He directed the most recent Muppet special on Disney Plus as well. It's like you're seeing him everywhere.
Yeah,
but
yeah, he's. Matter of fact, I really want to watch that. I heard good things about it. But, we see each other. We see each other a couple of times a year. Usually, he comes to like Pensacon and Pensacola or Wonderfest and stuff like that. But he's great to hang out with.
Yeah. Do you find that you draw a lot of inspiration from your time with other creatives like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's another guy too, Bill Diamond. He's kind of in a job similar to, but he's got this giant warehouse that's crazy. I think it's on the Hudson River or something, but it's like this massive installation. I told him the top lifts off, the rocket comes out and grabs passing spaceships, and then goes back down in. But you hear these people, and you kind of it's fun to kind of swim with them, visit with them, talk to them, nice people. And when one of them compliments you, it's like, wow, that person's a person that I find great admiration for. And that kind of stuff keeps you going too. Of course, anybody complimenting me helps keep me going. It's somebody comes by and says, "I love your work," and it's like, what can you say? Thank you so much. It really, I've heard it thousands of times, and I never get tired of it. I love the fact that people that it's like the old line in Network. I consider myself to be in the boredom killing business. And that's what it's about. It's about distracting people from the day-to-day, or give them something to smile about. So, I remember that movie, and get them thinking about it or something.
Yeah. And I tell you, the thing that is going to probably make you the happiest, if it hasn't happened already, I know it will, when one of the younger fans or even the children come up and say that your work on those covers inspires them. That's like the absolute best. And I'm sure it's happened with you, because I know my kids. I told you we had to fight my oldest daughter for the Jack Torrance piece, but my other kids have grown up around monsters as well, and they see your stuff and they're like, I know what that is. That's so amazing. And I think it's great, because for them to recognize that talent and want to do stuff like that and sit there with a little, Mark Maddox postcard in their pad and drawing from it.
Oh, wow.
I hope you know that you are an inspiration to at least my kids, and I'm sure a hell of a lot more.
Well, that makes me feel good. I mean, when it comes to kids too, I have them come by the table. Godzilla pulls a lot of kids in,
Oh, yeah.
and they'll come in, and sometimes kids bring in their sketchbooks, or they bring in work they're doing. Their college age kids will bring their stuff in, and I'm so excited to look at what they're doing. Yeah, that one there, I've had more than enough kids come by and go, oh, I like that, and then you get a chance to talk to them.
Beautiful.
Yeah, Rodan. That one's funny. I have twin sisters, and I was finishing that one up, and both twins, it was like Village of the Damned. They both walked up and looked and said, "It's not finished. Not enough detail in the Rodan." I went. So I spent another day and a half putting texture all around his shoulders and everything, and got their approval. So I do ask people, it's like, hey, take a look at this. What do you think? And if somebody, it's a little weird about that person's arm or something like that, but usually I start by getting irritated, and then I see the truth of it, and then I go fix it. So it's like, like my girlfriend Linda, she's like, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to critique that piece because I know you're going to get irritated. I said, you will critique it because we need the money and we want this to be good. So I continue to get hired. She goes, yeah, you're right. So then she'll tell me something, and then I grit my teeth, and then I fix it.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's the hardest thing. But unfortunately, as an artist, you're known by your last piece. And if it is a stinker, I would be very, very happy to have someone that would be careful, but would say, hey, you know what? This needs to be fixed. Because I know I have that with my bride, and she is very quick to say, this isn't right. And she may not know what it is that isn't right, but it gets my wheels turning too.
Well, what I do is if I've ever had a problem where something's off, I'll go to another artist or some people. I mean, plenty of artists I know or art directors, and go, hey, take a look at this and see what it is. What drives me nuts is when I put so much time into something that I'm not even sure, my brain's turned to mush, and I'm sort of looking at it going, is there anything wrong with this? I can't tell. Some reason I feel like there should be, but I don't know. You show it to somebody and go, no, it looks great. And you go, okay. And then you throw it out there. But I have had a few, like I said, I've been micromanaged a couple of times, 2 or 3 times where I'm like, I just don't, I won't show those anymore. Although they're out there in the public, they're on the cover of a magazine or something. I don't make prints of them, and I don't point people towards them and stuff. But.
Right. I would think that if an art director is hiring Mark Maddox, that they would just tell you, go for it. Does that still not happen all the time?
Every once in a while, you'll have somebody that has something in their head that you got to kind of be a Sherlock Holmes and figure out where their spirit is or something. And that's why, I mean, I'm 60. And I'm still from the day and age when we talked on the telephone a lot. And sometimes I'll be like, hey, why don't we talk? Why don't we get to know each other a little bit so that I get where you're coming from? And there are people in the modern era who aren't used to that. They're used to texting and emails. Sometimes they never talk to the person that they're hiring. And I'm kind of like, it would make it a lot easier. And I've done a couple of projects recently where I've had, here's my phone number. Let's talk and everything, and it makes the job go a lot smoother because you've got some insight, into
absolutely
the person who's hiring you, into their mind. But most of the time, it's, this is for this movie. We trust you. I've got a copy of the film or whatever. I know it very, very well, and then I let my mind sort of start thinking about what is important to me and what gives it punch, and then start to figure out how to put something together that works toward that. Years ago, I did a Lost in Space piece for a convention, and I kept thinking, well, I want to put the spaceship and I want to put the robot. And yeah, that's the one right there. I wanted to put the spaceship. I wanted to put the robot. I wanted to put John Robinson. I wanted to put the mom. I did not want to put Dr. Smith and Will Robinson. There's nothing against Will Robinson, but I was not enamored with that aspect of the show, the corniness and everything. And I did like the characters in the first season, like Dr. Smith. But you sort of get like, no, I don't want to turn this into a big catalog of everybody from the show. And so I said, what's your favorite thing in that show? What disc do you put out? And it's the third episode of the first season with the Cyclops, where they hit it with a laser and you know, I guess they kill it or knock it out or something. But I thought, okay, so you won't really see anybody, but it's the chariot and the monster and the laser. And I said, to do that, because I didn't want to spend as much time on it as I did that Universal piece. And I'll probably revisit Lost in Space again someday, but that was to me one of the pinnacle moments of the show. So I said, well, do that. Don't do the whole thing. Don't do all of it. Just do that aspect of it.
And that's the thing, is that I noticed that trend with your art is that you always pick those iconic moments, those seconds between seconds that we're all familiar with or we've seen in our head a million times. You can nail that so well. Is there a favorite medium? Like what medium do you use for most of your pieces? Is it digital or a mix of different things?
A lot of it's digital because of the time frame. And also any changes that would need to be made are way easier to do digitally. But I also work with acrylics. I don't think I sent you the picture. Did I send you the Mysterious Island piece with the giant crab? I don't remember if I sent that to you or not. That one.
Yeah, I think we had that one.
That's acrylic glazes.
There we go.
That is a very large. It's, I don't know. It's like 2 by 3 foot painting. And it's I tried to treat acrylics like oils. You know, they dry pretty quick and all that. So I glazed color on top of the strip and kept glazing until I got exactly what I wanted with each aspect. That was a long time painting that one. I work with gouache. Of course, as you know, I do a lot of pencil. Those are a lot of scratching the itch. Like I've got like something's in my head from a film or something. I want to do a pencil thing and just throw it on the table at a convention. So like last week, I had a Mr. Spock from the very first episode he was in, The Cage, and he's got that hand laser pre-phaser, and he's got sort of that more rustic sort of haircut.
Yes.
And I just wanted to do it. I've been wanting to do it for a while, and I said, well, just do it in pencil and get it out there. And not only did I get to scratch the itch, somebody came along and bought it. Outer Limits, Warren Oates with giant eyes. I wanted to do that too. And but yes, it's digital a lot, but also acrylics. And then I'm also working again with something I haven't used like in almost 40 years, which is gouache, which was sort of a paint, a poster artist paint used a lot in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So I'm working with that as well. And I've even got a set. I haven't used them very much, and it's been a long time. I used to paint with oils, like 15, 20 years ago. But now I've got a set of Alkyd's fast drying oils that I'm itching to, do some artwork with. So
nice. Yeah. So given your huge portfolio, is there anything that you haven't done that you've wanted to?
Oh yeah. There's tons of stuff. I mean, every once in a while I'll throw something out. Sometimes it's a tail wagging the dog. You'll get a hold of a person with the magazine and you go, hey, you write anything about this? Or have you ever done an article on this? And they go, no. Well, you got a cover you want to do or a piece of, yeah. Well, we'll get somebody on it who can, say something new or something. And I'll throw a few out there. When Worlds Collide, the James Mason, Pat Boone Journey to the Center of the Earth. I want to do something for that.
Yeah.
Black Scorpion.
Oh wow!
Willis O'Brien, and one of them. This is not really a monster movie, but I'm dying to find a way or a reason to do it for it. Is Towering Inferno, one of my favorite films.
Oh wow!
I just want to do something. Although you're not going to beat that original movie poster with everything going on in one shot, but I love that movie, and I want an excuse. So there's always, and these are just the ones you're asking me. It's just off the top of my head. Oh,
Yeah.
there's styles. I'll never get tired. I wanted to do a very realistic version of Johnny Quest, like Race Bannon and all them,
Oh,
but
yeah.
paint them as if they're really alive.
Mm.
That kind of thing. That stuff always. I've even wanted to do some very serious oil style paintings of some like the Marvel superheroes and some of the old Jack Kirby monster comics. Fin Fang
Yes.
Foom and all that stuff. Do those in paint and stuff too. So yeah, my brain's always running all over the place.
May it always, because the work that you do is outstanding, and I hope we have many more years of seeing those covers and those beautiful. I think we even saw. Did you do the cover for the Kolchak DVD set?
The Blu-ray set, yes, I did.
The Blu-rays. That was you.
Yeah.
That was the one that you sent.
The green cover with the monsters slightly in the background. Yeah, they had done. Kino Lorber had done the first two films. And I was like, dang, I wish I had contacted them, maybe see if I could have done it. But then when somebody said they were doing the TV series, I went ahead and contacted them, Kino, right away. But I already had a portfolio because I'd already done like 4 or 5 covers for Kolchak already for Moonstone Books, including a comic book cover. And so I had a micro portfolio of Kolchak stuff already. So I sent it to the guy, and he goes, "Okay, yeah, you're hired." And it was an absolute blast doing it. I love the movies. I wish I'd done that one too, but I love the television show. Not everyone's great, but there are some great ones in there. And so yeah, I mean, I was there first show, February of 1972, when the original film aired, and I've been a fan ever since.
Yeah. For me, it was a big shock to see him as the old man in A Christmas Story.
Yeah, it was like kind of different. Great actor though. Darren McGavin was a really good actor, very comfortable in front. What's funny is if you go back to the 1950s, there was it called Science Fiction Theater or Tales of Tomorrow, a live science fiction television show. And I remember him, he's watching, you see him on YouTube, and he's like looking through the newspaper, and he brings the newspaper down, and he's bald. So he actually miraculously got here later, I got a toupee or something, but even in the 50s, he didn't have much hair. So he grew some before Kolchak. But yeah, he was great. He was fun. He was fun, quirky, weird, kind of believable, very believable character.
Oh yeah, and 2 very different characters between the old man and Kolchak, and I loved him in anything I saw him in.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, for sure.
So what is next for Mark Maddox? What are you working on that you can tell us about? Anything in particular? Any show appearances that you'll be having in the very near future?
I've got some action adventure books that I'm doing, and can't really talk about them too much because they're going to want. I've got a few little movie posters for some upcoming films, not theatrical release, I don't think, but probably like direct-to-video stuff. I just finished one up for Fred Olin Ray, his film Jacko. I did the cover for his Blu-ray, a special edition Blu-ray. And then there'll be more issues, more covers for Scream Magazine. I don't know what they are yet because I haven't been given my assignment. And then I'll be doing more Little Shop. Just probably another issue of We Belong Dead. That's just what I can think of right off the top of my head. This next week or so, I'm getting a bunch of pencil stuff ready to take to Monster Bash in right near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's a fun show. That and Wonderfest are magnificent. And I'm going there at the end of the month on the 24th, 25th, and 26th. And those guys put on a great show. They'll have it's a kind of a Ray Harryhausen sort of thing. So they'll have Carolyn Monroe will be there, and Patrick Wayne, and then dealing with a little bit more animated puppetry, Will and Holly from Land of the Lost will be there as well. So it's if you're an animation fan, those are the kind of actors you want to see.
No doubt.
But that, and then there's Monster Rama in Atlanta at the beginning of October, And then I've got a comic book convention. I don't remember the name of it down the first time in near Daytona Beach. I'm going to one down there. So, you know, I mean, there's a lot going on. And
well, I'm glad you're getting around. I got to see you again because it's been years since we met in Tallahassee. So
yeah, I think it's been
it'd be nice to catch up in person.
Like
yeah.
So for sure. Cool.
I tried to get you to Phantasm, but you said you had a reptile convention that you were going to be doing then. But I'm holding out hope next time.
That's Linda. She's a reptile expert. She used to have an exotic pet store, so there's a lot of snakes in our house. We got lots of snakes. We've got 2 giant sulcata desert tortoises out back, which reminds me I got to go out there and put them away in a little bit. And then we've got dogs and turtles. We've got a couple of snakes that she's had for over 40 years.
I love it.
I remember when I was in high school, and then we've got a beautiful little saline turtle that she got like in 1980 here locally, and they're all doing good, you know.
Oh my gosh! So one of these days we got to compare our mini zoos because we have quite a eclectic group of animals from not groundhogs, prairie dogs. We have a Herman tortoise. We love the animals too. So I knew there was something more that I liked about you.
Prairie dogs. Where are you? I mean, I don't even know if I mean, I think I had prairie dogs when I lived in South Dakota. I mean,
we're in Ocala, but we actually got one it was a friend of ours that actually raises them. Right. And we've had her. They don't live that long, unfortunately. They only live about 6 years, but she's going on 7 now, so we're doing something right.
Yeah,
but she's beautiful.
We found a little baby bird out in the yard a couple of weeks ago, and we've been feeding it and taking care of it here in the house. And I look at the numbers, and it's like in the wild, on average, a cardinal will live 3 years. In captivity, it'll live 13. And I'm like, well, should we keep it, or are we going to sentence it to die when we let it out the door? You know, so I'm like, but I think we'll let it out. We'll let it go.
Squirrels.
Miss Producer Woman, I feed baby squirrels, so what?
Well, I mean Linda's done that before. She's fed birds before, and then they kind of hang around the house. They're just like, but you know, as long as they're doing okay, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, we're stewards of the land. I think if more people did that, maybe we would quit worrying about the other minutia in the world.
Empathy's good. I mean, thinking about just what everybody and everything is going through. We all got stuff to get through, you know? Yeah.
And I think artists, creatives like yourself, you thrive on that too. I don't think you can divorce yourself from that. We are more empathetic. We are more sensitive than a lot of the people out there. Maybe we need that to create and to art, you know?
I think sometimes, like when I get on an airplane and I don't want to be on it, or I'm getting ready to go to the doctor and they're fixing to cut on me, I think that's where my empathy really shows. I mean, I can really imagine every aspect of it, and I think that's kind of a little bit of the creative curse. It's like you're too vivid. You're too vivid in your imagination. You know?
Oh yeah. So. Well, it has been delightful. We talked before, and we said this was going to be a quick hour, and it sure has. And I'm so fortunate that I was able to talk to you and to introduce you to our viewers here on the show. Where can they contact you or see what you're working on, see some of your other pieces? What's the best way for them to reach out to you?
Well, I've got a website, but it's like dust. It's got dust all over it. It looks like a haunted mansion or something. That is maddoxplanet.com, but it's, you know, that's more like for using the email to get a hold of me. I've got samples up there. I need to clean it up. Facebook is really my thing. Instagram a little bit, but Facebook, I throw stuff that's going on. I'll be in the middle of a project. I'll throw the picture up partially complete or finished. You know, and so I like the immediate response, or when somebody goes, oh, I don't know, I'm finishing something up, and they say, oh, I'd like to have something, or, you know, they can write me back and go, hey, you stink, or something, you know, whatever. And it's you know, so Facebook, and it's the Mark Maddox that lives in Tallahassee, Florida. So that's a good way too. So if anybody wants to friend me, that's fine. Send a note too. 'Cause sometimes sometimes you got to be a little careful. Sometimes you accept a friend request and you realize there's nothing to do with them being, lined up with your thought process. It's like,
right.
Why did they bother?
They just want to see the world burn sometimes.
But yeah, I mean, that's the best way. And then on Instagram, there's a Mark Maddox as well. So
yes.
But yeah.
So definitely check him out. Like I said, we've barely touched the tip of the iceberg with the beautiful works of Mark Maddox. So check out his social media. Check out some of the other shows. If you can go to a show where he is set up and view his portfolio, it is immense and incredible. Check your newsstands, because chances are one of the magazines on the newsstand has been cover painted by him. So thank you so much for coming on this show. I would love to have you back again to, recap and catch up again someday. But boy, it has been an honor talking to you. I am, a fan of yours, sir. And I can't wait to see you in person again.
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm planning on doing more shows within the 5 to 7 hour radius. So you'll probably see me down in South Florida more. I've even had a couple of guys in Orlando that are like, hey, why don't you come on down? We do a weekend show or something, and we'll, make you a guest. So, let's try to keep in touch, and we'll figure that maybe you can head over to the show. I mean, some of those have got makeup men and stuff out of as well. So that would be pretty cool.
Oh, I'd love to. That would be fantastic.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I appreciate it. I really do.
Thank you. Thank you for coming on. So definitely we will be talking again in the future.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it, Scott. I really do.
Thank you. So that was Mark Maddox. And you can see I kind of fanboyed out a little bit, because I really, his stuff just hits the chord. So without further ado, we do need to get on to the final segment of Monster Manor, which is always an entertaining hoot with wonderful Boris. But before that, we do have to thank our sponsor, Pache Airbrush. All of the wonderful things that we create in our shop, a lot of it ends with them, in their wonderful tools and airbrushes, from the Talon to the regular H and VL. It's all there, and we absolutely love everything that they do. So let's roll the commercial, and then we'll come back to Boris.
The clipping dangly here or whatever the hell.
That's your mic.
This is the mic. No mic. Hello, everybody. Boris here, and that was a very surreal thing, because the Festa Maker had apparently Lieutenant Uhura crap in the ear with the producer lady, so it's like you're talking to nobody. Boris come in, he's like, well, thank you very much.
It's called an IFB.
Yeah, IFB, you too. I'll say, so Boris gonna start off a disclaimer, because they got the thing over there, like disclaimer. Whatever come out of the mouth, Boris' fault. Don't blame Festa Maker, producer lady, hobo baby, weird kid, and this 18, 17-year-old that don't want to be here no more. Go on Boris' Facebook page. Say, hey, Boris, you offend me? And Boris get tough. This is the age, offending. Boris going to be offensive. Nice shirt, by the way. Boris don't get no damn, but they have not the kickback. The licensing fee, you just slap the disclaimer, and then Boris got the watches Festa Maker sell them, and Boris not get the penny. So that's why Boris steals stuff. Boris is going to show you his thing. Off-color joke. There we go. You just looked at Boris's thing. Well, you perverts out there. So
Where
there
did
you
you
go.
get that from?
There's the table. You left it on the table. Boris picked it up. And this like Roger Corman movie thing. Like, hey, he's clobbering time.
That piece is like 12 years old. Come on now.
It's well that then you don't mind it because old and it's dirty. It's because the Boris gonna put that down. There. So anyway, Boris he went to convention today and paid lots of money off of Festival credit card to do this because they give him a expense account, which means producer lady leave a wallet in the van and they don't like the van, so he takes it. And he bought action figures from the 1970s. Can we have like what's Festival? You got the box?
Yes, I do.
Yes. Can you open up the box and we're gonna take
Open it up?
Open. Yeah, you can open.
I'm not used to opening your things for us.
We do it. This will be the first time.
Open it?
Yes, open it,
Okay.
and we're gonna go and
Okay.
hold on a
Just
second.
show it to you?
Yeah, don't show, Boris. Don't
Okay.
show. Okay, here we go. Got the
Okay.
first
Oh my
one.
God, what is this?
This is Action Doug.
Who did you steal these from?
We bought them. This was $399.95. This Action Doug, the Action Man.
Come with a pocketbook.
No, it's the man bag. The man, but he's from 1990. This is the guy that Action Doug was not in the military, but he's this very yeah, well, he's Metro something or whatever. But this is the guy in the neighborhood that says, I'm not gonna go to boot camp because the minute the drill struck to get in my face, I'm gonna punch him. So he watched a lot of the stuff. He a blogger. He sit in Starbucks and blog on the Tandy laptop. The laptop is open. So you got the MySpace. This is how old the figure is.
What did you get this for?
Because it's action figure.
Okay.
You got the action Birkenstocks and the 1990. This is great. This is 19. Boris Glove can't open the thing. You got the Nokia phone.
Oh,
Indestructible Nokia phone. And he come with an enemy.
Oh,
Anyway, that's all right. He come with the enemy. This is
that's what it feels like, by the way.
that's fine. That's all right. He's not going to break. This is anger management ninja. This is anger issue ninja. He's red with rage. He also got the man bag. Keep a salad, the sandwich, or something in there because he got no pockets in the ninja. So you see no butt pockets. So he got to keep his ID, ninja ID. So when they go to the ninja hut, he can say, "Hey, I'm a ninja." And then he got the crowbar for dispensing justice to the stupid.
I'm pretty sure that's a cane.
That's a crowbar. See,
It is
look,
a
it's crowbar.
Oh,
Whoops, there goes the action. Hell with that anyway. But the crowbar is the most important part because this is like, stupid will be dealt with accordingly. Was the Darth Vader in here? Anyway, Boris was going to do a longer thing with the heavy breathing. Apparently, she looked in the face at me. But no, Boris got one more thing in the box. And before we got to start, we got to do three things because the Darth breathing, that's not Darth Vader, that's Darth Producer Lady. We got to do three things about that Producer Lady. One, when Producer Lady step on the Lego cries. Two, the universe is expanding because it's trying to get away from Producer Lady. And three, Producer Lady hit somebody so hard that his blood started bleeding.
I have never proven that was from me.
That was the hematoma. But Boris was going to do a longer review because, the hell? Action thing. This was going to actually be the thing where they got does he poop gravel? But we're not going to do that because to them, tomorrow's a special day. Boris look at the email. And Boris is a special day. And Boris won this some lady got the special day, and he's gonna dedicate this as happy birthday, Producer Lady. The earth has tolerated her to live another year. She has killed a lot and leveled up. If you don't get older, you level up. And Boris got a nice card to make for the Producer Lady.
Thank you, Boris.
And
be concerned.
yes.
Do you want me to open
You can open the weather.
Why don't you read it to her?
Okay, Boris
That
gonna.
way the
This
friends
is,
on.
it's to Producer Lady.
There's like cockroaches.
No, Boris not put the card. This is Hallmark card made from the cardboard you get in the Hallmark cards the Boris steal at the Dollar Tree. It says happy birthday, Producer Lady. Is drawn is not as good as Miss Maddox, but who the hell is. And then they opened it up, and there's a birthday Chanukah Hanukkah. It's a sandal, because she's gonna hit you in the face with that. And that's because she throw it. And this is, hey, producer lady, hope you have a great birthday, Boris. And it says, that, and so she don't slap. And Boris bought something else with us to make credit card.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you left the number out when you're paying the electric bill. So Boris kind of copied the thing down, going to Amazon account.
Oh,
and
that's why I got that notification.
Yeah, that's.
Oh my.
You better not dispute that. Or you're going to have one pissed off wife.
He already did.
If you look, that's fine. You look to the left, you're going to find out what Boris really bought you. This coming in the posting tomorrow. Yeah. Yes. It's no, you don't have to show them. Because then they're gonna break in. They're nobody's business. She ordered from Adam and Eve.
I did not.
It's something nice.
Good dragon or bad dragon or something.
Yeah, from Adam and Eve wish list. It's like, but that's nice. So happy birthday, producer lady. Ready for the birthday song?
Okay.
This old country's birthday song. Okay, it's going to be very good. This is the birthday song. It's not very long. And that's it.
That's what she said.
That's what she said. Oh, that's what she, no wonder producer lady from the Amazon wish list with you has to make it. That's it.
And listen,
Mr. Hump Snooze.
Somebody linked my Amazon wish list to their Only Friends account.
Yes.
And I don't assume that my husband has one, so I'm going to go with it's probably you.
Yes, because you got the nice.
So if anybody's looking at Boris's feet pics,
it's not feet. It's not feet. See, they got the feet thing. Boris is.
The presents go to me.
It's present. That's right. Boris going to get. You know what you're going to get? The turnip peeler, a shovel. Oh, by the way, Peggy's house petting zoo, Dr. Peggy's petting zoo, is open. They found the kids. They were alive. So for another week, it's 2-for-1 chicken day. You pay $9.99. You get 2 chickens to throw at the chicken pulp into the alligator pen. And they go, and they're live chickens too, so you get to hear the carnage. But Dr. Petty's Pagan Zoo, not disclaimer. That's a circle of life. It's a circle of life, except for you as a cube. Because the cube of life. Because you sit out there.
Not like that.
And ponder.
Movie with the guy with pins in his hair.
Oh yeah, but Boris saw Pinhead once. He got the COVID and he sneezed and all the pins come out and he looked bald and weird. He cry a lot because he can't find most of the nails to put back in. So he go to Lowe's and now he's got mismatched heads. So if you ever see Pinhead when you play with the Rubik's Cube puzzle box, be nice to him. What do we got the promo now? Because Boris just blew his wad on the birthday.
Well, tell our friends watching, all 3 of them.
Hello, 3 friends. We're going to be Phantasm again, 19th, 20th, 21st of some month. October, August. But the Boris pretty much.
Will send you an email that you'll
Boris pretty much, phoning it in right now.
Yeah.
Because
landline.
That's right. With the for payphone at this point.
We also have
somebody back up with bad breaks again. What?
We also have next year. I know it's planning in the future.
Yeah, next year go South Carolina to the big old Florida Con and Florida Con in South Carolina. SCTV horror. South Carolina horror. Well, their Boris not going to get invited, so SCR. But that's good because Boris did not get invited. Stay home and check out stuff like
the thing.
Look,
you're gonna play with your thing.
No, then play with your thing. But I'm cheating. There we go. Boris be here.
Nobody's playing.
Boris,
anybody's thing.
You look at my thing. Boris going to touch the thing.
Maybe like
stroke the thing. None of it was like hilarious. The thing, and that's the best. Stan Lee named the thing. So okay, you want to think you would touch the thing, you'll shake the thing, maybe choke the thing. That's all once you, Stan Lee. And it's perfectly legit because Boris going to choke the thing, and he's choking the thing.
Give me that.
You're going to shake the thing, or the thing spit up on him. What?
You're taking my toy back, Boris.
a small person.
That's not a person.
Vomit.
That's what, about $9 worth of resin fest. They could probably pay $35 for.
There's a Michael Chiklis in here.
There's a Michael Chiklis
Yeah,
in
I
here.
sculpted the Michael Chiklis first, and then sculpted the thing around him.
You know,
That sounds so wrong.
that's wrong. You know what? Let Boris take the jokes. You just stick to the talkie
You're going
talks
to hell.
with the guests. Boris got
do you
the
mean going?
corner office. And then there's producer lady with the thing, and they like Lieutenant Manor over there with the warp speed.
Lieutenant Manor.
Yeah, the Manora. The sheets.
Is that a Jew joke?
Maybe she only
Now I'm
works.
gonna have to disclaimer you.
She only
I'm a Jew. I'm allowed to say.
she can only work for 8 nights. Then they got to give her a day off. What?
What else do we have?
We got
TikTok.
Oh, we're gonna play a game. Where's Hobo Baby? That's usually the thing. Hobo Baby gonna be released from the house any day, any given day of the week. And if you find Hobo Baby, you're gonna get the prize. Mostly, you can stay for dinner, or you get the nice little card, a card of like with the fence to make a draw picture.
So are you trying to get people to stalk my kid?
No, to find it because Boris come over last night to drop something off, and where the baby? Well, she next door with Dr. No, she not. Then when she went across the street, no, she not on the trampoline. Where she at? And then Professor Megan went, well, that's one less kid we got to feed, and then you got mad.
Disclaimer.
What?
Do not send DC after my house because we don't know where our small children
No,
are.
but Boris knows you're a Marvel household. They're not going to send DC Comic to your house. They make a crappy live
What,
movie
like
anyway.
Batman? Send Batman to my house. But not that, like,
But Batfleck, you want?
no, and I don't want the sparkly
you
Batman.
don't want Sparkly
I want
Batman?
Beetlejuice Batman. Send that guy to my house. I'm down with it.
You know, but Adam West could have done better than Beetlejuice Batman.
Don't worry, honey. I'll give you a really long shopping list and say,
What the hell was that? This is what go on when they done with what the hell? They point at each other now.
you can't even be mad because you'd be jealous.
That Michael Keaton was here.
Yeah, and you weren't. You didn't get to hang out.
What makes you think I would leave?
Maybe I send you and then you can meet her.
Oh, so you're gonna cheat on me, and you're telling the entire internet this?
It's Michael Keaton. Batman. Beetlejuice. And not Steve.
You got an email from Hollywood Collectibles saying that your order on the way. Who's Brittany?
Well, that's Brittany, the girl that I'm cheating on her with, as she cheats on me with Michael Keaton.
And then, ooh,
Don't do it with Britney Spears, man.
not Brittany Spears, isn't it?
No, the little chipmunk dummy.
Not Brit. No, this is Brittany McAllister from Silver Spring. She said, "You coming over later, baby?"
McAllister, ooh, bring back one of those potatoes with the pot roast on it.
And then, who says, "Ooh, I'm about to take 6 pictures in the phone and not delete them."
How
do you bend that way?
Sexy pictures, they're post-surgery pictures.
You can call them what you want. They put them online. Probably charge $10 to see this.
Onlysurgeries.com.
Onlysurgery.com. Ooh, look at that packing.
That's how I could afford our wonderful.
Listen, and then you wonder why Borders get all your stuff. He left his phone.
Yes.
Now, why did you just see him in the other segment pick up the phone? No, he just put the phone down. He bring the phone over, put it down. Like if the interview get bored, he's gonna be like, "Yeah, keep going, play Candy Crush."
That's why we don't set up Apple Pay, so Boris can't Apple Pay himself
Yes.
from your phone.
Yes.
Now Borders know the PayPal though.
It's turn to pay.
Turn the pay. The whole country got turn to pay.
So before
You're paying real turnips.
completely off the rails.
We-
Before we go completely
We
sideways.
are Titanic right now.
Patreon, and we can tell them, invite them to TikTok because they are going to get to have how many more hours of Boris?
None. Borders gonna go home.
Don't say that. You have your fans.
It's you know what tonight.
Your public is waiting, sir.
Yes.
Not tonight.
They're not waiting yet, but they will be waiting in about 45 minutes.
Tonight is Chud on Tubi. So Borders want to watch the Chud, and then the stuff is on.
It's streaming on demand.
It's
You can watch
stuff.
it whenever.
Yeah, Borders like the movie. You ever want to see a stupid movie by the 80s? The stuff, Killer Mayonnaise or Killer Cool Whip, get in your body and turn you into some weird thing. And that's like they phoned it in the 80s. Like, we already got 16 people kill you in the forest. 2 people show up in the house. Let's kill a Cool Whip. Or the Chud.
What is this, Chud?
No, Chud is cannibalistic humanoid underwear. That's like Hobo Baby grow up and eat people. They're like, that's in the sewers with who the hell know? Borders don't know, but this the Chuds. And then the Stuff was another movie about this stuff that come at the ground, and somebody, there's got to be Florida because it tastes good, and then they sell it, and then turn you into like a monster or you melt.
So it's like Miracle Whip.
Yes. It's the most vile thing on the earth is the Miracle Whip because it mimics mayonnaise, but it's not. What the hell salad spread? Can't put Miracle Whip on the salad. This is salad dressing. You ever come out in the spoon and bleh? No. And it's not like chicken salad, turkey salad. No. This is like Boris put on lettuce and the master went and then Boris got fired for 6 days.
So you got a mini vacation?
No. Boris had to go Jiggle Hut and bounce.
I heard
it burned down.
Ownership at the Jiggle Hut.
It may be. They got 2 things. A House of Socks may buy it, which we're hoping not because there's another House of Socks about next to Starbucks on the next block. And then there's some Bavarian company going to come in and maybe buy and make a Bavarian strip club.
What?
We make
What?
Spit day. No, it's like we make like sausages and bratwurst and stuff.
Say goodbye, Boris.
Goodbye, Boris.
You have created a monster and it will destroy you. She's alive! Alive!
I am Dracula.
What makes you think Michael Keaton's ever really gonna show up?
It's the idea. You don't get a free pass, okay? Even if it's
Michael Keaton, honey.
I don't care if it's Harrison Ford. We are.
Hey, Monster Kids. Thanks for hanging out for another episode of Monster Manor. Do us a favor, though, and hit the bell to get reminders of when we add new content. Subscribe to our channel, and while you're waiting for new shows, check out our website at www.monstermanor1313.com. New content at least every other week, sometimes even more often. Like and follow our Facebook page as well for other content. And lastly, if you want to help us out, check out our Patreon under Monster Manor with Scott Fenster. Thanks for hanging out until the end.
Because I pulled about